All right, guys, I am Melissa Shaver. I'm super excited for those that are with us. We are doing our convention recap tonight for everyone that was at convention at Las Vegas last week. It was probably, it's my sixth convention. It was my favorite convention. Every single year, I don't know how Plexus will outdo themselves the next year, and they continue to do it. It was so on task. It was so top shelf rated. Every diamond that spoke, every jewel that spoke, they were so prepared. It was just done with excellence. And then, of course, all of our keynote speakers, Bob Heilig, Mel Robbins, Rita Davenport. I think that those are the three. I might be forgetting one, but just excellent. And so I'm really excited for our leaders that are going to be sharing tonight. I did just kind of want to remind us of a couple of things super quick. And that is, and if you can mute yourselves as you come on, that would be great. We have our product training tomorrow night for active. So on the Good to Great page, that will be live. If you have any form of an ambassador on that page, you might want to share that graphic with them and then tag them on that announcement so that they can be with us tomorrow night at 6 o'clock. And then Thursday night is our business opportunity. Let's see. Thursday night is our business opportunity, so make sure that you're inviting customers, ambassadors, potentials. All of them need to be with us on Thursday night. And then before I hand it over, I kind of want to share a couple of things. I'm going to share at the beginning, and then I'm going to share again at the end after we hear from several of our people. But one thing that I want to share, we heard from one of the women she is Hispanic woman. She really talked about being a pioneer in the Hispanic community, and she has been so successful in what she's doing. But she posed a question to every one of us that I thought was excellent. And I thought about so many people on my team that they are the pioneer. And that was her question was, how many of you are pioneers in your circles of influence? And it's every one of us. We are the ones that need to educate, to come alongside, to share what we know. 6 years ago, I never knew what I knew today. I didn't even know about gut health. Somebody had to come alongside me, educate me, encourage me, and we are pioneers of taking that out. One thing that I heard said about active is that it is a game changer and that we are flipping the script. And I love that because 6 years ago, whenever I started with Plexus and started hearing about gut health and the connections that it was, and they said, we're changing the conversation. That's what they were saying at that time. We're going to make it a household name, but we are going to talk about gut health. And we are going to be educated and educated our people in that because it is the key source of all health issues. And that's what I feel like that they're doing with active. But we are representing that. We are the pioneers in our circle of influence to be able to take that word, to be able to take out what we are learning to the people around us. And it's our responsibility to do that because we've seen what it's done for our lives. It's seen that what this opportunity has done for our finances, and we need to share that with other people. And then the other thing that really stood out to me, and I was so just excited about this call tonight, is I think it was Victor that was sharing about 95% of Americans do not in any way work on personal development. 95% of Americans. Only 5%, the cream of the crop, work on developing themselves, bettering themselves so that they can better the people around them. And I thought that is us. The people on this call tonight are the 5%. The 5% that sacrifice their time, that stay up late, that get up early, that listen to different recordings, that are always listening to podcasts, that are reading the books, that are taking the time to take what they're learning and teaching it to another. And so I thank you. I thank you for being on the call. I thank you for giving up your Tuesday night to be here with us and to learn and to be encouraged because you're the cream of the crop. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Sweet Diana, and she's going to share a little bit about what she learned and her biggest takeaway.
Okay, so this was my first convention, even though it was my like third year of doing Plexus or whatever. So it was fantastic. And there was like two main like takeaways that I got. And like the first one is I realized how much more I need to just be excited when I'm talking to people because I'm a nerd. And so like I can go into like logic mode when I'm sharing. And I realized like they were just pushing stories and I loved that very much. So for those of you who think you need to know all about the products, like you just need to know how to tell a story. That is what's going to sell. And so I actually had a booth the day after I came back and my husband was like, oh, you were doing so much better with like your belief and your like, you know, seeing it for them. So I was, instead of focusing on how to help them, I was showing them what they could look like after Plexus, which is something they had talked about. So that was a really good takeaway for me. And then I love Emily Gibson. Anyone else? Emily Gibson is amazing. And I love that you can tell I'm used to doing lives where I'm always like, everyone answer questions. She gives such great practical things. So like she's one of those people I highly recommend subscribing to on YouTube. And I find her just very like, yeah, things I can do. So her big thing was we want to help people share about Plexus. And sometimes that can be hard on our team, but I loved how she was like, go to your back office. This is what she told us. And go find people who have been buying for 2 or 3 months, see what they're buying, and then just kind of reach out. Like, I see you're loving your products. And I'm not sure if she said this, but I would encourage to be like, hey, what are you loving about them? And also, if you have it, like be like, hey, when you first started Plexus, you were looking to see this, 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 and this, because they forget. Amber and I were just talking because we had to remind one of her people why they came to Plexus, and they were like, oh yeah, I forgot, all that stuff is better. Then ask, this is what she had them say, would you be willing to have like 5 friends over and share about the products? And if they said yes, she said, great, what day? Would this day work? And then like, I'm trying to remember exactly, but she would like help them like craft a message that they would send to people. So what I love about her and what her heart is, it's not like, hey, why don't you host a party, or even host a party and I'll show up. It's, I'm going to be holding your hand every minute. You're never alone, because I feel people get scared when they feel like they have to do everything. So we want to tell them exactly what to do and make it as easy as possible. I think sometimes we might feel like we are saying too much or pushing them too much, but people want to have their hand hold, you know? It's just like a little kid. You hold your mom's hand until you feel comfortable by yourself. Or you're like my kids and they just run off. But in general, so that is what we need to be thinking about with our people, is we're lovingly holding their hand. And we see their future, but they can't see it. And so we need to hold their hand and walk them through. So if they say, no, I don't want to do a live sip and see, hey, that's fine. You just say, oh, I totally understand. And then you move on, like, would you be willing to type up something and just post it? And just to share and tag me in it, just so we can all celebrate how far you have come. And you can even tell them, like, people just want to hear your story. You don't mention Plexus. You don't say, PM me if you want what I have. Just share your heart and your story. And people will just love to hear that. And then when they do that post, like help them craft the post, tell them to send it to you. You will help. You can even write one for them and then they edit and change it up. When people comment, you are there going, oh, look, this person commented. And you tell them, don't message, you know, underneath, be like, if they ask what you're taking, don't say, I'm taking Plexus. Say, I'll PM you. And then when you PM, you have them, you know, a lot of us have like the exact, like, what is Plexus? And they send that. And then you have them send a video and then you put them in a 3-way chat. So I just love Emily Gibson's stuff of just like, do it all for holding the hand. And something that Brooke said on a separate video that I felt fit this, it's really, really good to get people to have at least a couple people under them. And if you can get them to silver, she said, 75% of silvers are still buying a year later. And the reason we want to get people to silver is not really money, but that they're still investing in their health a year later. So I think that's good for me. I don't know if I talked fast, but I'm sure someone else would make up for it. And I forgot who's next, Melissa. I couldn't find the conversation.
It's okay. We're going to hand it over to Sweet Shelley. And Diana, thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it.
We all have these stories, right? We come from all different backgrounds and we got to share a lot of stories at convention, but I do weave plexus into mine, like in the last 24 hours. How do you do what you do? How are you doing? I'm moving my mom and doing an estate sale, coming off my Vegas trip, and she's back there in the back seat. She would just have a fit. There she is. Anyway, so I've just been going like crazy, and it's I don't know. How about active? Is that amazing? And also our slim drink. So Kristen Abart, she spoke about telling our stories and sharing our stories, and I actually have some notes I can't find. Just a minute. But she said to look at sales as solving people's problems and telling our stories. And isn't that what we do when we get together and everybody's together and you're trying to come up with a solution for something? I'm in a grandmother group, and it's like, oh, because we worry about that even more so than the moms, it seems like, if they're constipated. We start sharing our stories, what we give them, what we do. And plexus comes up in my life, and I weave it through all of my conversations, and it just keeps happening. Kristen also said, I'm going to do some reading because she had some really good points. She did speak of leaders being born at events, and then we jumped right back into stories. But where is it? I wanted to say this because we're in charge of our stories. What story are you telling yourself? And I think that I had to pause a minute. What story am I telling myself? That my story is not good enough and that I need to use someone else's, but mine is incredible. And I think we need to be a little more bold and courageous in sharing our stories. And we've permission to speak a story of success over yourself. And I've personally, who else on this call? I've struggled with my weight, that I have different disciplines I have not implemented that I know will take care of that. But oh my goodness, I went to the doctor. I had the best report. And those of you that know me, I struggle from high blood pressure. My blood pressure during this estate sale was 110/73. I was so happy. And so we spoke of me being able to go off my medication. I've been on medication since my stroke when I was 34. So I'm pretty excited about that. That is the story I will tell, and I will tell over. At my age, you're on some kind of medication. My sweet mama back there, she's on, I love her story. I mean, we go into the ER after a car accident, and they're sitting there, what medicines does she take? Nothing. She takes plexus supplements. And these are the stories we have to keep telling. We need 5 components to a great story. And I'm going to read them so I don't mess them up. She said, sell the problem you solve, not the product. You are the guide, they are the hero. Keep it simple and what matters to them. Paint a picture of success. Keep it short. I tend to ramble. I have no idea how long I've been talking, but I do ramble, and I am a storyteller, and I still tell lots of stories. And pulling plexus has become natural for me after 4 years because it's such a big point in my life. Your story matters. Tell it and share it. I have not always done that. You know me. I don't like live. I don't like doing this, but I'm getting better. I'm getting a lot better. And I will be sharing more because I have a lot of success with my plexus, whether it be financial or health. And my husband is, pain-free. My mom is doing so much better. And doesn't she look awesome? Can I tell your age, Mom? Well, she's old enough to be my mama, and I'm 55. So there we go. But your story matters. Kristen kind of left us. Your story matters, and tell it and share it. You're the most powerful person in the world when it comes to sharing stories. And, I think I don't know if I haven't had the confidence. And I've noticed several on my team have an amazing story and they're not sharing it. And I'm really, really working on my air conditioner going. Really encouraging my teammates, my team members to share their story, because that is what that is what people are interested in. And those are the type of people you want to attract to your team. People that are interested in your story and people that need your products. And anyway, that's kind of where
I hope
I do.
that we get to hear you talk about your blood pressure and where it's been during the weekend. I hope you start talking about that on social media. So we're going to be looking for that. We're going to be looking for that.
Okay, one more thing. Today is my daughter's 31st birthday, and we are at the restaurant, and I refuse to cancel out on this, and so I may not hear it all, so I'm going to be checking out here in just a little bit, but I believe Andrea is right after me, one of my favorite people. I love anything she has to say, so listen up and listen to that story. So
thank you, Shelley.
Thank y'all.
Thank you. Andrea, before you get started, I see, let's see, Amber Olson, Lauren Trevorrow, Cindy Bishop, Joan, let's see, Diana's already spoken. So those, I'm going to give you a minute, but I want you to think about what's your biggest takeaway. So I'm going to give you some time, but I want you to listen to Andrea. So don't tune her out and start thinking, oh my goodness, what am I going to say? But I do want to hear from each one of you, and I want them to hear from you. But we'll hand it over to Andrea now, and then I want to ask you that after she's done.
Okay. Hey, how can you hear me? Can you hear me okay? Okay. All right. So I loved everything, and so I had to pick one thing. And one speaker I loved was Erin Zimmerman, and I chose her because she talked about just the very nuts and bolts of how she trains her team to grow their business. And I love practical information that applies to like what we need to be doing. And honestly, she really repeated a lot of the same things we've been learning over time, which was encouraging to me because it just goes to show it really is this simple. She talked about you've got 80% of your ambassadors, you've got them in a bucket, and the other 20% are in a bucket. 80% are usually your wholesale ambassadors, right? And then the 20% are those that are interested in potentially growing a business of some sort. So she said that she trains all of the ones that are interested in the business for sure. She has them do 100 touches in their first month. And I like the way she put 100 touches, because a question I get often is if you say, reach out to people want to know, well, what exactly does reach out mean, And so really reach out just means touch them in a very personal way. And so 100 touches to me means you need to touch them in a very intentional way, whether that's in person, a phone call, an email, a text message. Oh goodness, I'm already getting an interruption. I'm gonna have to leave the room. I asked my husband to, you know how it goes. Anyway, they're playing Monopoly, so I don't know that he's paying attention. So anyway, 100 touches the first month. She even broke it down. She said she likes them to do 3 messages a day, 20 per week, 100 per month. And I love that because it was so tangible, practical. 3 messages a day, 20 per week, 100 per month. So whether you decide to do bulk IPA or whatever, that's the number that she aims for, especially that first month. She shows them how to track it. She didn't say anything specific to that, but she made sure that she's holding their hand and explaining to them, keep track of these people so that you can follow up. Whether you get a planner, you use the Doe app, you have some kind of tracker sheet, whatever. She says if they are having trouble getting responses from people, she'll ask them to either screenshot their messages so she can kind of help them tweak it, or she'll have them put her in a 3-way message with the person. So these are really things we've all talked about on our team that we do. So it was encouraging to me to hear, another diamond talking about the same types of things that we've been, training our team to do. So she says sometimes it just needs a little tweaking on their verbiage, and sometimes they're just not asking a question or a call to action at the end of the message, so they're not going to get a response, right? Sometimes it's as simple as just changing a little bit of the wording. She does hold her people accountable by reaching out to them every week. She asks them how they're doing on reaching their goals. And I like that because obviously everybody is doing this and it's their own business. But when you have an ambassador that says, I want to do the business, we need to be saying, okay, what are your goals? And how many people are you going to reach out to a week? Or I guess she gives them an assignment, I guess, unless they want to reach out to more, obviously. And she makes sure that she holds them accountable every week and checks in to make sure they're reaching out and doing the work to reach that goal, because they've already said they want to reach that goal. Let's see. She makes sure that they know it's normal to be ignored and to get no's. And I thought that was really important. Sometimes I know when we have a new ambassador that's getting totally ignored and getting a bunch of no's, they're like, oh my gosh, I'm doing something wrong. And I'm like, no, actually it's normal, you know? So that's good to make sure they know that on the front end. She said her goal in training them is to shift their thinking from feeling a personal rejection to simply collecting no's. And I thought that was good. So instead of thinking you're rejected, you're just collecting no's. The more no's you get, the closer you get to a yes. So I thought that was good. She does make sure she walks them through their virtual office and just kind of gets them familiar with a few tools, not the whole thing. It's overwhelming. She makes sure they know where their shareables are, the resource library. And then she also teaches them to pick certain product info sheets, certain videos from their shareables, and just go ahead and put it on an album on their phone so they can quickly grab it and send it to people. The ones she finds are most common are Triplex Combo, MetaBurn, How to Mix Your Slim HC, Microbiome Slim, and Joyome. And I will tell you that's something that I have instituted too. I pulled certain things from the back office and just put them on the notes in my phone also for that same reason. So it's just really easy to grab it and just send it. But you know, something I really looked over today that she didn't talk about, at least I don't remember her talking about it, was the Beautifully Plexus website. I don't know if y'all have all had a chance to look at that, but it's called Beautifully Plexus. I'm adding that in right now. But it's like your back office, but it's like basically your shareables, but all just on one specific website, and you can search really quickly. It's more user friendly on, you know, when you don't have a lot of time than looking in your back office. So it's pretty handy. So I like that. She also has a photo album on her phone that has like certain $1.99 packs, the one that she sends the most. And she even, like when she's talking to a new ambassador, she's sitting with them, she said, if she can, and she even just airdrops all this, her whole album of all this information, she just airdrops it to their phone so they already have it. So I thought that was smart if you can do that. She said the main thing is keep it simple, keep it clear, and give them the support they need. And it's as simple as that. And then at the end of her talk, she said, I'm going to give y'all like 5 minutes, and I want you to think of 3 to 5 of your level ones who are wholesale ambassadors, and I want you to go ahead and send a message something like this. And I'm going to go and read you the message that she shared, because I think it's very good. It's a good tool for us to have. She said, I know you are here because you're excited about what the products will do for you. So who are some of your friends or family who would also like to feel better, lose weight, or feel more energy? It's always more fun to do this with friends. So she goes ahead and she asks those wholesale ambassadors that question. She just goes ahead. And I learned from listening to Brooke Hemingway, and I know Melissa has taught us this. It doesn't hurt to ask that question, because you just never know what they're going to say, right? So anyway, that's about all that I got from what Erin said. So
That's awesome. I had to step away for 2 seconds, so I might have missed it. But did you share your big aha takeaway?
my I don't know that I did, but I mean, I would say my big aha takeaway is it really is as simple as what we've been saying it is. It's not more complicated.
Right.
It's about messaging a certain amount of people every day and doing just doing the work every single day. That's what I got from it, to be honest. So
that's awesome. So it just encouraged you to keep doing what you're doing, right?
yeah, and to be
That's awesome.
intentional. Be
Mhm.
intentional.
Great. When we, guys, when we put this recording, when we upload it to our page, Andrea, if you can add that script, that would be awesome, because I know that they're going to be asking for that. So that would be great. Thank you so much. Joan, did you think of your big takeaway?
I did. What I learned, that convention is non-negotiable,
Mm-hmm.
and that it's a priority for anyone who really, really wants to run their business.
Mm-hmm.
So that's really, it was phenomenal. It's my 4th convention, and for me, I learned that I was working my business as a hobby, and that was really hard for me to take. So listen to Aaron and listening to the simple steps, like Andrea says, I can do that, and I've been having a very successful week since I returned. So I'm excited about that.
That is excellent. Great. Thank you. Cindy Bishop, are you available to tell us your takeaway? There she is. Okay. Everybody keeps moving. I'm like, where'd she go?
Oh, no, I'm in the middle of a kitchen demo and reno, and my house looks like a smoke cloud. Like,
well, you look super cute.
So I had to find a room real quick I could come in, and I don't even know what I look like. What a mess. But like Joan said, first of all, convention is non-negotiable. That is just something that is a must. It's just a must. It's life-changing. I've only been to 2, and I walk away speechless. And it's funny because you usually don't hear anything that you haven't already heard at some point, but it's the approach and it's the verbiage that the speaker will use. And, being a teacher, I try to keep things simple for my people. And what Shelley was talking about, that whole time that she was speaking, I was just soaking in all those little gold nuggets. And that one phrase, we're not selling a product, we're selling a problem that we can solve. So you're not going to go to someone and try to sell a product. You're going to them to help them solve their problem. And that's what we do. I just talked to someone in the middle of Home Depot today, that I ran into a friend. Actually, it's a friend of my daughter's. And we were talking about it. And she goes, yeah, Abby's talked to me before, but that's just not my thing. And I was just explaining to her, I said, you're a nurse. It's absolutely your thing. You help solve problems. That's what you do as a nurse. And when we got finished talking and I was able to use that particular verbiage, I'm like, where did that come from? And why didn't I think of that? Because it's so perfect. Don't sell the product. Sell the problem you solve. And that has just really resonated with me. And when I said that to her, it was like her whole thinking shifted, because she's a nurse. She cares about people. She wants to help them feel better. And just that one little phrase really spoke to her. So among a gazillion other things, that is just something that really resonated with me this year.
I love that. Okay, Dawn. What was your takeaway?
Am I unmuted
There
here?
you go.
Okay.
Yeah, you're ready.
All right. Oh my gosh. Well, this was my first convention, and I think I was just blown away by stories, the love that everyone has for each other, and the passion that we have for each other, and helping build each other up and growth. So it's like the positive affirmations, the just the cheering each other on, because we all come from different backgrounds. So a lot of us still carry insecurities, and hearing even diamonds say, I'm still struggling, really kind of was like, okay, even though they're where they are, it just proves to us we can still get to where we want to go in this business, even if we have some insecurities or hangups, because we can work through these things along the way. And that was a big thing for me, knowing that I can work through my stuff along the way. And I have girls on my right and girls on my left that I got to embrace this past week, and I'm so blessed by it. But we will go arm in arm and hold me accountable when I need to, lift me up when I need to, and go when I need it. So I just really felt so uplifted and loved, and everything. I have my notebook and just everything that resonated with me that I've heard over the years, making stories that are speaking to people. And the one thing was finding the heroes. We are not the heroes. The ones that have the problems, those are the heroes, and they need us. And so that one I really, really liked how they kind of worded it like that. And they are heroes to us because people matter. And so when we kind of have those insecurities pop up, we just need to remember 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. And just go.
I love that. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm going to hand it over to Sweet Tori. She's going to share her takeaway, but also a portion of the training that was done. So, Miss Tori.
Hi, you guys. Let me know if you hear a lot of background noise. My kiddos are in the back watching Cupcake Wars. And I'm single mom, and Andrew's out of town. So my biggest takeaway, this being my first convention, hard to believe, I know. Multiple people are like, wait, no, I don't believe you. I'm like, really, this was my first one. I think the fact that it's not complicated, it's sharing the stories, and people buy into you more than they buy into the product, because they trust you and believe you. And so it's really all about that relationship. And I also really liked, like Dawn said, that like the Diamonds would get up on stage and be like, hey, I struggle with this. It's a daily decision to get up and do this, even at that level. And so that was just really, because most of the time you don't hear that from top people, that they're like, oh no, once you get here, everything's gravy. But to hear them just say, it's, we still work, and it's still hard for us to make that decision. And just don't stop. You never know when you're 3 feet from gold. That was another great story. So is that a miner was mining for forever, it seemed like, and he literally stopped 3 feet before he hit the mother lode. So just keep reminding yourself that every no, that may be your 3 feet from gold. So so I'm going to share what Sarah Marble said. Sarah Marble, most of us, if you haven't heard of her, she is an RN, and she was labor and delivery nurse. She was working on the 12-hour shifts, and so she really just wanted to be with her baby. So hold on. There we go. Okay. She talked about the sharing system and how important the new sharing system is, and that consistency is key with it. Also, be very diligent with your time. Schedule it out. She has a great YouTube video about time management. Just search Sarah Marble time management on YouTube. You can see it. And she talks about what Plexus has given us for the send, share, and invite is great. And that we are given all the tools from Plexus. There are scripts in the back for us to use and tweak and make ourselves. We have I mean, the beautifully Plexus website is gorgeous. And I was browsing that this afternoon very quickly, and it's awesome. The product info sheets are easy to find. The nutrition information is easy to find. Shareables, videos, everything. So awesome. Then she also talks about avoid comparison. That is when we get into our biggest trap, because we are looking to our right and to our left when really we should just be looking forward. There's no one to compare ourselves to except who you were yesterday. That is the main thing, is you want to be just moving forward, small baby steps at a time, but do not compare your journey with the person on your right and the person on your left, because there's no amount. You're comparing apples to oranges. Those fruits will never be the same. They'll never be on the same level. Just that's when we get in our headspace. So don't do that. She also talked about how what you focus on will grow. So when you are in your headspace about thinking, why am I only getting wholesale ambassadors? Why can't I find any business builders? Why can't I get any runners? Those are all negative thoughts. But when you're thinking, going, all I find is business builders. All I find are people who want to work this business. All I find are awesome preferred customers who love the products and want to share and use referrals. That is what you are going to attract, because that is the energy that you're putting out. She also reminded us that we don't have to be the expert. This is another great thing. Bob Hiley teaches this too in his Leadership Academy, that it's actually better if we're not the expert, because it is telling the person that we're talking to from the get-go that they can do this business. When you're the expert and you're spouting all the ingredient information and this works with this works with this, they're like, I'm never going to know all of that. I am not a sciencey person. I will never pretend to be a sciencey person. I barely passed chemistry. Okay. And that's only did it because I was dating a really smart chemistry guy. So that's why I passed. But by sharing third-party tools, you're showing them that she just sent me a video. That's all she did when I asked that question. When somebody says, hey, what is Plexus? And you're like, great question. I'd love to share a video with you. Let me send that to you. I'll get back with you in 3 minutes. That is just showing them like, oh, I could send somebody a video. I can find that. The Because of Plexus videos, there was one in the middle of that too, those are awesome videos. Does anybody know where to find those yet? Are those on YouTube? Melissa, do you happen to know yet?
Which videos?
The Because of Plexus, those videos, like the
I don't
paramedic.
know where they are. Yeah.
Okay. I know Connie's is out there, but anyways, when Plexus comes out with those are great shareable videos too, because I really like those videos as it is talking about not the opportunity in a way that people, what was it that has a sharing video? Oh, Marley. Sarah Marble has a time management video on YouTube. So just search Sarah Marble Plexus time management. Does that answer your question, Marley? And then, no, so Because of Plexus, Jordan Reynolds was one. Connie was one. But what it basically did, it wasn't specifically talking like, because of Plexus, I have the income to do this. It was because of Plexus, I was able to achieve my dream. And I really liked how those incorporate using Plexus as a vehicle per se, not the vehicle because I want to be a Plexus diamond. I want to be a Plexus diamond because it allows me to do what I really want to do, is own my own shop or have a second chance at life or be a fitness instructor. Those are really awesome videos. So when Plexus comes out with those, be sure to watch those. She also talks about being bold. As Andrea said, to produce a call to action. I fail at this all the time because I just send them a video and go, what did you think? Not a great question. It's, what did you find most interesting? Or what part did you like the most? Or what part did you find most surprising? Did you have any questions about, having questions may not produce the answer you want either, but just be specific in your questions, because then it is offering a response. The wording that she also wrote or talked about too when talking about welcome packs was saying that this package is about $330 retail, but you can get this as a welcome pack and it's only $199. Does that sound like something you can do? I really like that question. Does that sound like something that you can do? Because by immediately saying yes, $199 is something I can do, they've already bought into it. And then also you can tell very quickly about their budget. So if $199 doesn't sound like something they can do, then you can talk about the 99 welcome packs. She also said the people that are diamonds, the only reason that they're diamonds is because they shared more than us. They have gotten more no's than us. And so the more you share, the better your results are. And don't be afraid to tweak things tweak things minor, so you can see like, okay, if I ask this question, what kind of results do I get? And she also recommended the book, Jim Rohn's book, The Law of Averages, which seems to be 9 no's for every 1 yes, which is terrifying when you're reaching out and you're like, I'm going to reach out to 10 people today. And you're like, I'm going to get 9 no's. So go for no instead of thinking, I want to get 9 no's today, because you're making yourself get an answer versus no decision whatsoever. So go for the no's. She also talks about the easiest way to expand your network is make eye contact, smile, and ask a question. How was your day? Then you're in the grocery line and you say, oh, cereal boxes. That's my favorite meal when I'm making dinner for myself, which it is mine as well. Like, what, do you have kids, or is that your favorite cereal? Who knows? But just start a conversation. Get out of our phones when we're standing in line trying to check a message or whatever. But just that is the easiest way to expand your network, is to be aware of the people surrounding you, whether that's getting gas. You'd be surprised who's out there. So that's all I got.
That's awesome. Thank you. Lauren, have you had a minute to think about what your big takeaway was?
Oh, trying to get my video on.
There
My
you
husband's
are.
ready for bed. We've been up for 48 hours straight.
Yes.
Yes, my biggest takeaway was actually when they said the goal is to not get rid of fear, it's to build faith.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me was just mind-blowing, because I look at other people and I'm like, gosh, they have no fear. They talk to everybody. And that's not how I operate. But then when I switch it to think about building faith instead of fear, then it puts my mindset in a completely different place of positivity. And I'm able to actually be like, okay, I'm building faith. So no matter what the outcome, I can actually do this, and I'm going to learn from it and grow from it. Because the other thing was, I think it was Bob Heilig who said that God doesn't give us what we want. He gives us what we need. So if you are going through a season where everything is no, then stop, take a look at yourself, how you're doing things, how you're interacting with people. Are you doing it for their health and their benefit, or is it for my health and my benefit or my wealth? Building the business. So I loved those two particular things, the building faith, not fear. And you don't have to get rid of your fear, just build on it. And then also just remembering that God gives us what we need in the time frame that we need it. And so if this is a growing time period, then praise God. If this is a, like plateau period, then keep learning, keep growing. And I just really love that from the Plexus stage. That's honestly the biggest thing that I talk about when I explain the business of Plexus, is the fact that people get on stage and they talk about God, and they put the right priorities. It's God, it's family, it's Plexus, it's, whatever your priorities are, it puts them in the right place. This is not something that I feel is replacing God. And I love that about Plexus and this whole company.
I love that. And thanks for being so committed. I know you're worn out. So she went from convention to the Grand Canyon on vacation and is just getting back. So thank you, thank you. And then Amber, sweet child, what did you learn? Your first convention as well. What was your big takeaway?
Oh, hi. So everyone said so much. They all said like what I was going to say, especially what Tori said, how like the only reason why they are diamonds are because they got like 1,000 more no's than we have so far. So I was like, well, that's refreshing. And the nice thing too is I'm from California, so I watched everybody on social media, you know, all of us on the team and all of us Plexus women and men and stuff. And I was like, is this real? Are they really that passionate? Because I know I am about it because it's changed my life and it's starting to change people around me and their lives, and they're building their own testimonies. But it was so great. And if anybody goes to convention just for one thing, it would be for sure this, because we are a family unit. Everybody in there was so passionate about Plexus and about helping other people. That's what I think is so cool about the diamonds and the jewels and stuff like that too, is that they're still as passionate as they were from day one when it changed their life too, whether it be for health reasons or to help their family financially. That was just amazing to see all of that too. So I mean, I took away all of the really great educational stuff that Tori and Andrea and everybody said, but that was the big thing, is to feel like a family unit, you know, that this is all real, that everybody else was just as passionate as I was, and now I felt like part of a family and part of a team. And that's important, you know, you want to feel like everybody's involved and that you're part of that group too. So in short, that's what I felt and noticed.
I love that. Thank you. Thank you. Guys, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to share some things in lives over the next week, so be prepared for that. But the one thing that I just kind of wanted to end with is, in my training for the jewels, some of our diamonds spoke, and they really talked around imposter syndrome and how, you know, you think, oh my goodness, they're going to find me out, or they're going to think that, you know, they're going to realize I'm a big mess, and you go through these things, and even the guilt of, you know, especially as jewels, like people make you bigger than what you are, and they put you on a platform where you shouldn't be, and so they really wrestle with those pieces as well. But I know for all of us, when we're going through a process of being successful, whether it is getting our first ambassador, going silver, building a team, getting customers, hearing that the people that are joining us in the products, that they're becoming successful and they're feeling this, it is raising us up in leadership, because we are leading even one person in guiding them on how to take the regimen. But all of a sudden, these negative thoughts start coming in, and we start getting fearful. We question success. We think, oh my goodness, I really don't know what I'm doing, and what am I going to do? And we sabotage, and we go through this whole thing. We start, you know, comparing ourselves to others, and comparing always brings competition, and competition, nobody wins in that. And I think one of you guys talked about that we're only in competition with ourselves. And but the big thing that I just kind of want to close with is happiness. And we've heard here everybody talk about the family and how wonderful it was, and that we were united. And it's kind of crazy that 12,000 people can be like the health and happiness company. Like, everyone's positive, everyone's excited, everyone wants the other person to win and to be supported and all of that. But we do allow negativity to creep in. We allow, why she's successful and I'm not? Why did I start before she did and she's already silver or gold or senior gold and I've been doing this longer? And we really start just pushing ourselves down. And one thing that she said is that happiness is a choice, and we choose it every single day. And it made me think about, in scripture, it talks about the covering of peace and to be covered in peace. And it's the same thing with grace, like to receive grace. Like, we have a choice to take that on. It is ours freely. But we have a choice as if we're going to receive it. And I think about that with happiness. And it really is the change of a thought, or getting out of the line of gossip, or getting out of hearing all these negative things and saying, you know what, I'm just going to step away from that. I'm going to set some boundaries for myself. But we can choose happiness in our circumstances and what is going on, and just the importance of that, because otherwise you're going to burn out. It's going to destroy you if you're always looking at other people. And the big thing that they talked about is that there's no perfect blueprint. And everybody's like, if I could just be like that person. And the person that was sharing this was Jennifer Leith. And Jennifer is one of our very kind of famous diamonds. She's beautiful and funny, like girl next door. She has an incredible story. If y'all haven't heard her story is one where they couldn't make ends meet. She homeschools, like their electricity went off, her water went off while she was taking a shower. She had this beautiful, red hair, and she had to go to the neighbor's house and use their water hose. And that's when she started Plexus. She was like, I will never let this happen again. I will never let my water be turned off. I will never question if I can buy milk for my children. And she's one of our diamonds. And they just this past year went through an adoption process and have a 15-year-old child with their other children. And so you hear all these things about, who she is and who we see her to be. Yet she's like, this will shut you down. She said, my thing was, Jen Hawkins was my blueprint. Like Jen Hawkins was it. If I could be everything Jen Hawkins, and for those of you that are new to Plexus, she's one of our double diamonds. She's the one who recruited Celeste Gwynn, who recruited basically all of us fall up underneath Jen Hawkins. She's a magnificent leader, philanthropist, huge heart, huge giver, has just done magnificent things for community in our country. I mean, just like everything. And so, but Jennifer was like, I got to be that. And she brought Jen Hawkins on stage, and she said, Jen didn't know I was going to do this, but she read some different quotes from different people that know Jen very well, her husband, her mom, her best friend. And they were just these beautiful quotes, and Jen's just crying. And she said, Jen, this is my question for you. When you wake up every day, do you wake up and say, man, I got a hold of this. Like, I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm on top of the world. I have so much confidence. She said, is that how you get up every day? Or do you get up going, man, I'm messy and I don't even know what I'm doing, and I feel overwhelmed, and man, am I doing everything that I need to be doing for my team? And Jen just shared, like, yeah, like that is me every day. And the whole point is that there's no perfect blueprint, and you are allowing your joy and happiness to be stolen. And you're the one who has control of that by comparing to other people and saying, she's perfect and I need to be looking just like that to be successful. Because this is the deal, guys. You need to be authentically you. You were created with a giftedness that nobody else has. You need to be you, and I need to be me. And that's our sweet spot. And that is what this is all about. We fall in love with stories because they're unique and they're different. And a lot of times they resonate with us in certain ways for us to go, man, if they can do it, I can do it. And that's the uniqueness. But outside of that, we're all snowflakes that look totally different from the next person. And we need to engage with that and be satisfied with that and know that God has a very specific place for us in this business. If we will not sabotage it or get hijacked to think that we have to be something else, and just you be you, because you own your happiness. So with that, I feel like I always get on a soapbox and start preaching, and I'm sorry. But I'm going to close this out. I so appreciate you being on with us tonight, and be looking for the lives that we'll be doing this week that will really talk through different pieces of the sections of the convention. You guys have a great night. Thank you for your commitment and for being here. I'll talk to y'all soon.